Think of the most beautiful thing you can imagine. Is it a rose, a snow-capped mountain, a rhythmic dance, or a distant galaxy? For me, I think of Glacier Bay in Alaska. It's magnificent, and it's truly beautiful. I also think of the aqua-colored water and the coral in the Caribbean. Regardless of what came to your mind, I doubt any of you, when I asked the question, thought, beauty, I don't believe there's real beautiful things in the world. The reality is, we all actually believe in objective beauty. And yet, interestingly, when asked, most people would say they agree with the statement that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So which is it? Is beauty a real part of the world in which we live? Or is it entirely a matter of personal preference, like choosing an ice cream flavor? If you find yourself agreeing with the statement that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, then you need to at least realize that you are in the minority in terms of history. That's right. Most thinkers from a variety of traditions have believed that there are three transcendentals that stand outside of human opinion: goodness, truth, and beauty. And if beauty really exists, then there's good reason to believe there's a God or some kind of divine artist responsible for making the world beautiful. You might be thinking, wait a minute, how can beauty be objective, a real feature of the world, when people differ over what they think is beautiful? After all, when it comes to music taste, some people like rap, other people like country. When it comes to art, some people like paintings of landscapes, where other people like art that is more abstract. How can beauty be real when there's such disagreement? At first, this seems like a strong objection, but keep a couple things in mind. First, nothing follows logically from disagreement. People disagree over all sorts of things, but does that mean there's no truth? Take science and history. People differ over what is historically true and over what is scientific fact. Does that mean there's no facts and there's no truth? Of course not. We could spend all day arguing over which of these two flowers is most beautiful. What would come of it? Probably not much, but we would still agree that there's such a thing as beauty. We would still agree that flowers can possess that property, and in fact, we would agree that flowers many times really are beautiful. Second, what do we do with disagreements? Music tastes, for example. There is still general agreement that certain rhythmic patterns, structures, and arrangements are necessary for music to be beautiful. And while people may disagree over what particular features of a person are beautiful, there's agreement that human beings can truly be beautiful. The universal recognition of beauty in nature, crashing waves, a sunset, or a rose, must not be missed, even though we may disagree on the particulars. We certainly speak as if we think beauty is objective. When we say a rose is beautiful, we speak as if we think there's some property or characteristic that that rose itself possesses. When we talk about a poem being beautiful, we seem to be indicating that we think there's a quality of the poem itself that is beautiful. In other words, when we say that something is beautiful, we mean that that individual thing has the universal property of beauty. So when I say to my wife, "You are beautiful," I mean that she has a property of beauty. That's something she possesses as a person. And her beauty is just as real a feature of her as the fact that she has a certain height and a certain eye color. You might not quite be fully convinced yet, but you do have to admit that we at least speak as if we believe that beauty is real. So here's the question: can pantheism and naturalism adequately explain beauty? According to naturalism, our ability to recognize beauty is some evolved trait that we inherited from our ancestors. Now, at first glance, this might seem reasonable. After all, if a species of beings found their environment pleasing, they would be more likely to survive, arguably. But the problem is, we don't just find the world pleasing, we find it beautiful. We explore to the depths of the ocean and we peer into the most distant galaxies, and we regularly find beauty. The world is filled with beauty, but it's seemingly gratuitous beauty that has no survival value. What about pantheism? Can it adequately explain beauty? As you'll remember, on pantheism, all is one. So there's really no distinctions in nature that are real. So what that means is there's no genuine difference between beauty and between ugliness. So rather than accounting for why we find beauty in nature, pantheism simply explains beauty away as an illusion. The Christian worldview takes beauty seriously. Since God Himself is beautiful and He has crafted the world with purpose and order, we should expect to find beauty in creation. And that is exactly what we find. The splendor of a waterfall, the magnificence of a diamond, or the grandeur of a sequoia tree. The world is filled with beauty. Just take a look at the world around you, or even take out your smartphone and look at the photos. Our hearts resonate when we experience beauty. The existence of real beauty in the world may not prove that God exists, but it is one powerful pointer that the world has been fashioned with purpose, order, and beauty by a divine artist.